and loving it. I'm loving it by Florian Bake.
Contest Chair, fellow members and most welcome guests. I know what you're all thinking. It was nice to have known you, Florian, because soon you will be dying of heart disease. Florian, there's a Pret down the road. Why didn't you go to Pret instead? Last. Florian, you're French. How can you eat such things? Such things have been around since 1940 now, when two brothers, Richard and Maurice MacDonald, came together in California and launched their first restaurant. From very humble beginnings as just another greasy spoon, things started. The two brothers, however, were different from the rest because they had an ideal of efficiency and streamlining. After a few years of experimenting, the menu was simplified to chips, milkshakes and burgers. And this way, they could outsell the competition, cut the prices of everyone else and make loads and loads of money. Enter an old American man in his early 50s, milkshake maker, seller, Ray Kroc, which spotted the idea, went to the two brothers and said, I would like to buy your business for $2 million, a fraction of what it would later become. The two brothers agreed. There was no contract signed and they never got royalty as a result. And Ray Kroc pushed the vision to the next level. His vision was simple, but quite effective. Restaurants all over the United States selling the same food, tasting exactly the same, cooked to the same very demanding standard from coast to coast. And this vision took over the world eventually. Today, you can get a Big Mac in London and it will be tasting exactly the same as it does in New York or in Tokyo. This came at a price, developing these new ways of freezing chips, finding new ways of cooking meat quickly, writing a 750 pages operation manual with very exacting standards, and many, many more things. Such was the price of turning a greasy spoon into a multinational chain. Now you might all be saying, but what's the point of all of this if the food they make is just crap? Well, I think it's time for a bit of a reality check here. What's a Big Mac exactly? Just a piece of plastic, some of you in the room might be saying that. If we could take a Big Mac and we compare it with, say, a club sandwich from Pret a Manger, the fat content is exactly the same, the calorific content is exactly the same, and guess what? The ingredients are pretty much the same as well. Just beef instead of chicken, basically. What about an homegrown alternative? A Cornish pasty, a steaming Cornish pasty from Cornwall. Calorific content? Exactly the same, about 500 kilocalories. Fat content? That flag, the Cornish pasty, is actually fattier and more unhealthy. Burritos, they're all the rage really, and they're surfing on a wave of healthy alternative food. Calorific content? Same. Fat content? Pretty much the same. So you see, a Big Mac is actually quite a good meal if eaten on its own just a few times a week. Don't want too much fat? Well, don't order chips, it's that simple. You don't like the sauce in it, or you want more salad, get it cooked to order. They will do it to you free of charge, and it will be nice and steaming hot. You don't want the empty calories that come with the soft drinks. Well, don't get a Coke then. It's that simple. Just enjoy the meat patties. Now, you might be wondering, he was born in a McDonald's restaurant to be such a staunch defender, surely. Well, I have a confession to make. I actually used to hate McDonald's food when I was a wee boy, a small boy, from 3 years old to 7 years old onward. Because I was just like any kid in a McDonald's restaurant. I only wanted one thing, and it wasn't the food. It was the Happy Meal toy. Because they were all slightly different, and I would always beg my parents, can you buy me another one, please? But you have to just come back the next week to get a different one, really. It's quite a good incentive for consumption, actually, once you consider. But one day I was about 7, and I did the unthinkable. I started to eat the burger. And I quite liked it. And things went downhill from me. My first standard menu was a large chips and 2 burgers and some chicken McNuggets on the top. Later on, as I aged, my taste became a little bit more refined. Big Mac meal, extra large, of course, please. Now, they've evolved yet again, and on more budget-conscious basis. Double cheeseburger and large fries, only £2.88. This cheeseburger priced 99 pence, really. In some respects, you have to just give it a bit of thinking. There's meat, there's bread, there's cheese, proteins, everything you need for just 99 pence. In many ways, we've got to give some credit to the fast food industry because their food is very cheap and in some respect very nutritious. To the extent that some people have said McDonald's food is the cheapest and most nutritious food in the world. Think about it. Beef used to be a luxury a few centuries ago. Now it's a commodity. Social progress brought to you by the fast food industry. I've yet to sample the menu from more exotic places like Africa, India or Japan, where apparently they've got things that we can't even imagine there on the menu. Now, you might be wondering, what's next? What's next in your story about McDonald's? Forgotten what comes next, very sadly. All I can say is, over 20 years after having been there, sampled it for the first time as duly recorded by my mummy on my babies and my childhood photo album, I have become a convert. I will defend the chain against its criticism, but I swear to God, I only go there at least once a week, and never more than twice a week. I promise. I am quite health conscious, really. I choose what I eat. All I can say, ladies and gentlemen, is I'm loving it.